Welcome to Football Data Journal. Today I have a guest from all the way from Hungary. Steven Vanharen, Sports Director and Technical Director of Eto FC Györ. Well, just before I go into it, make sure anytime you actually come to Kuzguncuk, to our office in Istanbul, Turkey, and you will be able to analyze everything when you go to a game. Now, let's go to best under 23 players in 5 parameters and best under 23 11 in Hungary NB1 League. And also, what I'd like to thank to Steven, my jersey, Comparisonator at the back. Well, let's see the analysis. Hello, my guest today is Steven Vanharen. Although everyone thinks that you're Hungarian, you're not. And
No.
Steven Vanharen is originally from Belgium, and he is the football director, I should say. Pretty much everything, right? Technical director, sports director of Eto Györ. So welcome today.
Thank you, Tarkan.
And we'll go through the best under 23 players in Hungary NB1 League in 5 different parameters and the best 11. Let's have a look. This is the parameter touches in box, most touches by center forwards and forwards. Denesh is number 1, Gradisar number 2, Becker number 3, Silve and Molnar. Any thoughts about this?
Dinesh, number 1, is a talented player. He is a national under 21 player. Interesting young player with lots of potential to develop. So he for sure is in his right place there in the first place. Jakuba Silve, the 4th one, I already know longer. In the time that I was working for United World, I wanted to transfer him to Beerschot in Belgium. But he was playing at that time in Austria, and he stayed there. It's a good striker, mobile striker, a lot of movements, very goal-oriented. And the number 5, Raimund Molnar, same is a potential young Hungarian player from MTK. So there are some nice prospects among this list.
Fantastic. Now let's go to shots on target, mainly by wingers. Again, yeah. I see Molnar, Gruber, Denesh, Sabo and Katona.
Yeah, especially the first 3 or special players with that extra quality. Gruber is a player of Ferencváros, very young. He's not playing that much. It's a pity because he needs playing minutes to continue to develop. He's 20 years old. Originally born in Györ, Gruber. But
like my jersey, yeah?
Yes. The other one, the 3rd one, Dinesh, okay, we discussed already. He can play as a winger, second striker. And Molnar, okay, these 3 are really good players with potential. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now let's go to mainly midfielder actions. Ground duels won defensively by centre mids. Yeah. 3rd, Kata, Petr, Kozlowski and Arthur Horvath.
Yeah, of course I'm very happy that our midfielder Raimund Todt is in the first place. He's 20 years old, very, very versatile player, modern midfielder, can cover a lot of space, calm at the ball, aggressive, healthy aggressiveness.
So how do you find these young talents?
Yeah, he comes from our academy. We have a good academy who's producing good quality players. The education is good. We have here a full-time academy in that sense that players go to school in the morning, but combine their studies with football during the day. Also full-time coaches. So we're producing a vast amount of players every year who could potentially come in our first team. At this moment, we have 3 academy players, and then after New Year, we will have 6 academy players in total with our first team.
Well, loose ball duels won by fullbacks, which is a very important action, especially by the fullbacks. Simut, Vera, Györ, Santos, and Farkas.
Yeah. Vera is also our player, young player with potential. At this moment, not the easiest situation because he has somebody in front of him who is playing, but still he has potential. And then Dominic Chontos was our player, but I transferred him out in summer because I think we had better at that position. So okay, these players I know very well. Györ I also know, of course. We played against him and Simut also. But okay, I can agree with this list how it is written down.
Fantastic. So, okay, interceptions by centre backs. Vayu, Vas, Varkonyi, Katona, Alexei.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the centre backs?
They how shall I say, good, decent centre backs, but nobody special in between it, of whom I would say this is somebody extraordinary, but all decent defenders in the level where they play.
Fantastic. So, before I go through the Hungarian NB1 League best under 23, so how do you yourself find Comparisonator? Because you've been using Comparisonator, and what do you think, what eye sees, does it match to your field eyes? The numbers in Comparisonator AI, which is able to select these 11s for every World League every week.
Yeah, the Comparisonator has for me 3. I use it with 3 main factors. The first main factor is selection, because I get a big amount of players offered. Also, we look at our own players, but you also get a lot of players from agents. And there is Comparisonator, a first selection tool. You know, I put a player inside Comparisonator, you see the data, and immediately you can have a general overview of what the player could mean for your team. So that's the first selection tool. Then the second one is a comparison tool. Like the name says, Comparisonator. We are going to compare our own players and the player profiles, what we have, with potential players. And then the third, for me, Comparisonator is a decision-making tool. In the end, when it goes about the finances, you need the approval of the board, of the management. And then the data inside Comparisonator, not only the data, but the comparisons, what you can make, the virtual transfer, what you can make. These data are very understandable for
so
people.
So you simulate all the players like they would play or not according to AI?
Yeah. And then it's also easier for the management team to take an objective decision instead of taking a subjective decision. So in these 3 ways, Comparisonator is very important in our recruitment process.
Fantastic. So let's go through the AI generated under 23 best 11 so far in Hungary NB1. So Denesh we talked about already. So we've got Molnar, Suits, Adin Molnar, Raymond Turth, Mihail Kata, that's the midfielders. And the 4 back, Dominic, Gabor Vas, Benedek Vayu, Mario Simut, and Carlos Sentic. So anyone really actually catches your eye here?
Of course, our own player, Raymond Toth in the midfield. That's always good to see him there, and it confirms also what he is showing every week on the pitch.
So basically, AI is confirming your eyes in this list.
Yeah, absolutely, and also is also the case for Dinesh. What is very noticeable is 4 players of MTK in this best 11.
So is it good or bad? So does that mean that MTK and Györ is kind of leading this youth, giving the field time to youth academy players?
Yeah, I think both MTK and Györ both academies are in the top 3 academies of Hungary. MTK already for a very long time, as long as I can remember. Even when I was working there, I think 60% of the team was composed of own academy players. It changed a little bit because the ownership changed and then the vision changed a little bit, but still they have a vast amount of players, what comes every year with the first team. Same here in Györ. We have a very good academy, top 3 in Hungary, producing a lot of young players. Because of the difficult past years, the inflow of young players in the first team is a little bit less. But if I see our second team, I see our under 19, I see the under 17, then we have nice potential what is coming. And in the next years, we will have a lot of academy players who will come into our first team.
Steven, Vanharen, many thanks, and many thanks for my jersey. I like the green, as you know. And thank you very much for joining us. Many thanks and see you soon.
You're welcome.